Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves a Scrap, and I'm coming to you from the land down under today. Today is Monday, so that means that we're hopping along with the girls from the lands down under. That's right, the lands down under. We're a group of girls from Australia. We're the ones with the white stars on the flag, or New Zealand, and they're the ones with the red flag stars. So we are in October showcasing our landmarks, whether they be man-made or natural. These are the landmarks that make us famous. And today I'm concentrating on the Archibald Fountain in Hyde Park. So I have collected together some ephemera. There, it's cut apart there. I have a little bit of a tag here. I have some branding strips that I have from previous papers that are going to blend with my layout. And I have all of my photos that were taken last Christmas, where we were in Hyde Park and the fountain was lit up, and my daughter and I were doing our annual Christmas hop around the city. So I have these papers here, which are extremely old. They came from the very first pad of paper I bought all those years ago, probably about 15 or so years ago, and I bought it to do a wedding album for a friend. So I'm using these papers to create a double layout for this page today, and I have chosen these colours because they reflect the colours of the nightscape in the photos, and they are complementary to the colours in the fountain. Now, the Archibald Fountain, as I said, is in Hyde Park in Sydney. It is very well known. It has been there since 1932, and it commemorates the Australian association with the French forces during World War I. The interesting fact about this fountain is that it has many Greek mythological associations, and it relates to all facets of life, particularly children who like the turtles that are around the outside of the pond part of the fountain, but there's also the Greek gods there represented. So with this layout, I am basically doing a double layout with the two 12 by 12 cut in half, so that I have panels of 6 by 12 across the page. Now, I have cut out two strips that are 2 inches of this diamond pattern, and I'm inking it up here with my scorched timber just to give it a smoked effect and tie it in with the rest of the colours of the layout. Also, by doing that, it doesn't just have the paper abutting or sitting on the layout, just sitting there hanging in space. So I'm just quickly edging the rest of the layout with the scorched timber, and that's pulling it together to give that smoky night effect that is in the photos as well. So I'm carrying this across to the second layout, and I do apologise that you can't see both together at the same time, but that is my working space and I have to work with what I have. So I'm laying down these strips that I cut out of the other 12 by 12 page, and I'm going to edge those with the scorched timber as well, and then I'm going to trim them down at different sizes to give a staggered effect across this layout in this black and cream panel dotted part of the layout, just to add some interest behind what will be where the photos sit. My children have always come with me through Christmas, and we do the Christmas hop, and Hyde Park and the fountain is always a place that we stop. And on hot days during January, that fountain is very full of children who love to play in the water. With the January Sydney Festival that they have on every year, it is central to all the things that are happening in Hyde Park, and you will see families congregating around there at all times. And during the lunchtime period, it's a popular place for people to sit, as there are benches around it. It's actually just across the road from St Mary's Cathedral, and that too is another famous landmark of Sydney. So these photos, as I said, are of my daughter and I, and what I'm doing now is I'm just distressing the edges of the photos, because I didn't want to mount them, because that would take away from the background of this layout with the colour choices. But by distressing them, it defines the edges of the photo from the layout. That's just a little handy trick that you can do just to make a difference between your photos, so that it's not just sitting flat and blending in, but it has got a bit of a contrast. So I'm just working out that this one that I have here of myself in front of it, I just wanted to trim it down so it fits on the page a little bit better and allows me to put that many photos on one layout. I have this photo of my daughter that I have taken on an angle, and that allows me to set up a point of interest on the page. I inked in, as you saw, the decals in the corner. They were just to carry on that more like a Art Deco feel to this layout based on the fountain as well. So I've tried to draw on all of the elements to create this layout so that it had a continuity and a theme behind it. I'm just going to pop this photo up a little higher and drag that one down, and then I have this quote here which I'm putting in at the bottom of the left-hand side of the page, and I'm just putting a little bit of glue on those pop tops so they don't come off, and it says always find time for the things that make you happy to be alive. And at Christmas time it makes me happy that I get to go and do the city walk and admire all of the lights. And unfortunately last year my daughter was the only one that would come, so she was the one that got to do it with me. Hopefully this year I'll be able to rope a few more of them back into coming, because they saw what we did last year and they were a bit like, oh well, maybe we should have come. So hopefully this year I will get more of my 5 children and son-in-law to tag along with me as I do my city hop. So what I'm doing here with some labels and a journaling corner, I'm just tucking them in under the photos to create tuck spots. It's a different way of creating embellishment clusters. It allows a landing point for your clusters, particularly when you have just photos without frames. It's nice to build a landing spot, and layering up behind adds interest for the eye as well. I'm just putting in this photo tab here that says happy, and that's just what I was that day. And for my daughter's one it says be an original, because she often lacks confidence and I keep trying to boost that in her. Now I do have this charm here which is made out of felt and sparkly material, and it's sewn, but it just didn't actually fit the feel of the layout, so I've put it aside and it will appear somewhere else on a layout down the track. I have got these stickers that I've had for as long as this pad, and they are flocked and they are with the black, so it ties in with the colours of the layout. I've just added these flowers, I've added these flowers into the little clusters, and those flowers I received in a swap once, and now have finally made its way onto a page. I thank whoever it was that gave me those flowers. They have been sitting on my desk for a long, long time, but they are finally in on a layout. I'm going to use these blue flowers here to give the pop of blue, which relates to the colours in the photos as well, and it also just lifts that layout a little bit out of the cream and black zone. So it's just a little bit of a point of interest, but as I always try to do, I draw on the photos and the colouring in the photos, and if you look at those flowers carefully, you'll notice that they are actually the colour of the sky in that photo there, but more so noticeable on the other page with the photos that are there. And you can see that now, where the blue is now being reflected from the photos. So by building up those clusters and the flocking, I'm adding some points of interest around the layout, and I'm just building them so that they appear balanced. It's very important with clusters that you try and have the same elements in them across the page. That way they don't stand out as a separate eyesore. They actually blend nicely and cohesively across the page. So I've got blue flowers cohesively across the page. I've got the black flocking cohesively across the clusters, so that you can see that they all just marry nicely. Now that edge there that I have on that belly band across the page was annoying me, that it was just sitting there. Even though I had distressed it with ink, I wasn't really happy with how it was looking across that page. So I'm just adding in the zip strip just to the main parts of this here so that it now looks a little bit more finished. And there I have pretty much finished the layout, except I needed to add a little bit of bling. And of course I needed a bit of bling. It was at Christmas time, but also the blue just needed a little bit more emphasis. So I've gone through my stash and found some flatbacks with the sparkly blue in it, just to add some interest to the layout. And I'm just plopping those randomly now next to the clusters so that each flower cluster has the gems in there as well. To finish off, I'm putting in where it was and when it was. That's very important. Journaling is important, especially as we are recording history one day, one layout at a time. And so here's my layout completed. You can see my corner stenciling, you can see the gemstones and the flowers, you can see the flocking tucking underneath that quote. And then on this one here, I have the gemstones, I have those layered up labels underneath, and that's building points of interest for the eye. And as you look at this in whole, you see how your eye just flows across the layout. So there's a group of girls hopping along today on Monday with this one here for the month of October, where we look at our landmarks. Please check out the playlist down below. Give the girls some thumbs up. It's really important that we get your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me. I hope there's something here that I have either inspired you or reminded you of, something that you can add in your next layout. And be mindful of the fact that we're here as history recorders when we create our layouts, recording the everyday. I truly believe that we are the history keepers of the future. So give me a thumbs up if you like something I've done today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you know when my next layout's going to land, and leave me a comment. I really do appreciate all the feedback. It helps me to keep on track and providing you what you want. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap. Find me on Instagram, where all my layouts end up, even those without a video. Thank you once again for watching. Happy scrapping. Till next time.